guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be taking you through two super delicious healthy treat recipes. Now the reason why I love these two recipes is because they require minimal ingredients and they are ingredients that you'll most likely have lying around the house anyway. And even if you don't, I'm going to give you substitutions so that you can replace them with ingredients that you do have. And I'm also going to give you some substitutions to help suit your nutrition or dietary needs. So the great thing about these recipes is that they are packed with nutrition. So they're packed with protein and fiber, so they'll keep you fuller for longer and really help satisfy that sweet tooth craving that we all have, or that I have anyway. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now for the first recipe, we are going to be making chickpea blondies. So they're kind of like a brownie, but a blonde version, if that makes sense. All you need to start off with is 1 can of drained and rinsed chickpeas. So this is a 400-gram tin, which when drained and rinsed, it's about 240 grams. Then you want about 100 grams of nut butter, or you can have, is it half a cup? Does that equate to half a cup? Yeah, half a cup of nut butter. I'm just using the coconut peanut butter from Bulk Powders. Now I love this nut butter because it's got a bit of sweetness to it. Now the great thing about this recipe is that all you have to do is chuck all the ingredients into a food processor, blend it up, and then put it in a baking tin and bake it. Which reminds me, need to preheat the oven to 180 degrees. Now you can use any nut butter. Obviously I've gone for the coconut peanut, but you can use almond butter, you can use cashew butter, you can use another peanut butter, whatever you like. So then you want to go in with some maple syrup. Again, I'm going to use 100 grams, but if you're using cup measurements, it is a 1/3 cup. So these are just rough measurements as well. Like I've seen so many variations of this recipe that it just goes to show that you don't really have to be that accurate with the measurements. So I'm just making up my own version to add to the variety that there is already online. Also with the maple syrup, you can switch that for honey, you can switch it for agave syrup, whatever you like. And then I've got about 2 heaped tablespoons of almond flour. Now if you don't have almond flour, you can use oat flour, or fine oats, or you can just take it out. You don't need it, but I just find that it gives a really nice fudgy texture. Then you want to put in your baking powder. So I'm going to put in half a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of baking soda, or bicarbonate of soda. Add a pinch of salt to this, and then all you want to do is blend this up in the food processor. So now we have super smooth. We have a super smooth batter, which looks like that. So good. You can even just have this as like cookie dough, like healthy cookie dough, because it's like a sweet hummus basically, because there's no egg, and it doesn't require baking unless obviously you want to. So you can even taste the batter now and see how it tastes, and then adjust any. Oh my god, so good. And then if you feel like it needs more sweetness, put a bit more maple syrup in it, or if you want a bit more of a nut buttery taste, like peanut buttery taste, then just put a bit more nut butter in. Like I said, very versatile, very easy to adjust to whatever taste or nutritional need you like. You can as well put an egg in there if you want a more fluffy brownie, but yeah, if you want to keep it vegan, then this is the perfect recipe. But then what you want to do is line a little baking tin. I think this is a 6-inch baking tin, but just find one that, I don't know, that you feel like the butter's gonna cover the base in, if that makes sense. So you don't want one too big, because then, unless you want a thinner brownie, but if you go for a smaller tin, then you'll get more of a thicker brownie. So I'm just gonna line this with some coconut oil, which I've run out of. Backup supplies, always need backup supplies. I'm just gonna run this round, especially into the corners, because that's usually where cakes stick. You can also use butter if you want to use butter to line it. Right, so now all you want to do is pour this mixture into the baking tin. But don't forget to take the blade out. You can lick the spoon. No, actually, it's probably not a good idea to lick the blade. Time to add your chocolate chips, or you could have folded them in before you put the batter into your baking tin. I'm just using the Bulk Powders cacao liquor buttons. So these are just like pure cacao, like pure dark chocolate, just cold pressed. But you can use any kind of chocolate chips or just broken up dark chocolate. I've just crushed these buttons up and just place them evenly around your brownie or your blondie. I keep saying brownie. A better way to describe blondies is like, you know, like you get chocolate ice cream and vanilla ice cream. So a blondie is just like a vanilla version of a brownie. That's probably a better way of describing what a blondie is. And you cannot taste the chickpeas in this. Like, it doesn't taste like you're eating chickpeas. That's another thing that I love about healthy dessert recipes. There are so many ingredients that you can be so versatile with and make healthy alternatives with. So sometimes you don't need like all the processed stuff. I mean, there's always a time and a place for processed stuff, but because it's part of life, right? But you also want a healthy balance. Like, you want a healthy balance of nutritious food, so you're getting in what your body needs versus eating for pleasure. Not that this isn't pleasurable to eat, but you know what I mean. But yeah, this is what my blondie looks like with all the chocolate chips in it. Now all we have to do is place it in the oven and leave it to bake for 20 to 25 minutes. So just until a toothpick comes out clean. So if you poke it in the middle, it should come out clean and not have some of the batter on it. So make sure it's on the middle shelf. Oven is nice and warm. Alexa, set timer for 20 minutes, please.
20 minutes, starting now.
Yes, thanks Alexa. And now we just wait. Easy as that. See how simple that was? Just literally chuck everything in a food processor, whiz it all up, put it in a baking tin, chuck it in the oven. Done. The best part. We do not let anything go to waste in my house. Well, I don't anyway. So good. How many of you lick the batter from the spoon or from the tub after you bake something? It's like an essential process, isn't it? Or is it just me? Comment down below, let me know. Now is take this out and put it onto a cooling rack and just let it cool for about 20 minutes if you can wait that long. If you can't, then I wouldn't judge you if you just dug in. Oh my god, so good. Every last hit. Now, the second recipe we are going to make is a cookie recipe. It's like a choc chip coconut, or it doesn't have to be coconut because I'll give you obviously substitutions, but it's like a choc chip cookie recipe and it is so easy to make, it's ridiculous. Again, with all these recipes, I've basically, or with both of these recipes, I've basically just modified them to suit me. Like, I've seen so many different variations and this is just how I make it and it's delicious and the whole family approves too. So to begin with, you need 1 banana and you're gonna mash that up. So 1 ripe banana, actually no, 2 bananas. Let me just say, I'm just gonna make half a batch because I know if I make a full massive batch, they're just gonna literally go in 2 seconds and it'll be me who eats them all because trust me, they're so good that you'll wanna eat the whole batch. So all of these ingredients, just double them. I'm gonna tell you the ingredients that you need to make a full batch, but this half a batch makes around about 10 to 12 mini cookies. So I'm just mashing the banana with a fork. You just wanna mash it into a paste so it's like liquid. Again, this recipe is vegan friendly and it's high in fiber, high in protein. As you saw, the ingredients that I gave you a little snapshot of earlier, it's very minimal ingredients. I think it's like 4 main ingredients, which is nothing really when you think about it. And you don't have to use protein powder in it. You can just substitute the protein powder for more coconut or oat flour. Now that's all nicely mashed. So you want to make sure there's as little clumps in it as possible. Unless you like banana chunks in your cookie, that's absolutely fine. You can keep it a bit chunky. You want to kind of make it like a puree. Again, with this, all you need to do is throw everything into the bowl, mix it up, and then make little cookie shapes. So it's a super easy recipe again. So for the nut butter, I'm using this triple nut butter from Bulk Powders again. Now this is just a blend of hazelnuts, almonds, and cashews, but you can use any nut butter, peanut, almond, cashew, whatever you've got at home. And I am just going to put in 1 tablespoon because I'm just making half a batch, but double it, put in 2 tablespoons, or about 30 to 32 grams is 2 tablespoons. In goes the nut butter. Now when you've done that, you want to go in and add your either desiccated coconut, or I'm going to use coconut flour, which is just ground up desiccated coconut, or you can use oats, fine oats or oat flour, whatever you've got. Then you want to add in your protein powder. That was 90 grams or 1 cup if you're doing a full batch. So 90 grams of either oat flour or coconut flour, or you can do half and half of both of either. With a coconut cookie, it tends to be a lot more moist and what's the word? It's less dry than if you're making an oat cookie, because oat sucks up all the water and liquid from the ingredients, so the cookie tends to be a little bit drier. But I've done both ways, and I've done half and half, and I much prefer the coconut version or half and half than just oats. But yeah, they both taste nice, they both taste great, so you can experiment with either. Then you want to go in with 1 scoop of protein, or 1 serving, which is about 30 grams. Again, I'm just making half a batch, so I'm just going to go with half a scoop. And I'm using chocolate protein powder, but you can use any flavor protein powder, whatever you like, or you can just take it out completely and add in 30 grams more flour, your oat flour, your coconut flour, or almond flour. Almond flour is great in cookie recipes. Again, you have the option to add chocolate chips. So again, I'm going to use the organic cacao liquor buttons from Bulk Powders. I think these are best for baking. Like, I don't use them in anything else really apart from baking, because they are so strong. Like, they're very bitter, but they taste good in baking recipes. So I'm just going to break this up in here. Again, I'll link all of these products in my description box below, so if you do shop through them, please do let me know, and I would really appreciate it too. So thank you in advance. But they always have super sales on, so take a look at my Instagram page. I always post when they have like 70% off sales and different deals on. So yeah, so I've got about 10 grams of broken up cacao liquor buttons, or again, you can use broken up chocolate or chocolate chips, whatever you like. So here we have all of the ingredients. Now you just want to give that a stir, mix it all up together, and you'll start to see like a batter forming, or like a cookie dough forming. Make sure it's all nicely combined. So now all that's left to do here is make little balls with your dough. So using your hands, just make them into little balls, and then you just want to place them onto a lined baking tray and just flatten them down a little bit. So just press them down a little bit so they become mini cookies like this. They're not going to rise too much, so just flatten them to however thick you would like your cookie. Again, all that's left to do with these is pop them in the oven at 180 degrees, or I think it's 350 Fahrenheit, and just let them bake for about 10 to 12 minutes, or until they're like slightly brown around the edges and they just look golden. Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes, please.
10 minutes, starting now.
Thanks, Alexa. So these have been in the oven for about 12 minutes, and as you can see, they've gone slightly golden around the edge. Now, you might want to get a spatula. I probably should have greased this baking tray or this baking paper before I put it in the oven, but hey ho, that's how they look. Now, it's my birthday in a couple of days, my 30th birthday, so I know there is going to be a lot of treats around the house, hence why, another reason why I only made half of that. But I just want you guys to know that, like, it's okay to want and crave sugary, sweet, junk food. Like, it's completely normal. You've probably grown up eating it, so it's like it's part of your childhood. It's instilled in you. But just try to make sure that you are getting a healthy, balanced, nutritious diet. And if you do really want the real thing, like a cookie or a brownie, like, have it. Just make sure you are mindful of it and you are just aware of what you're eating so that you can balance it out in other ways, like throughout the day with your other food choices. But yeah, here we have it, our gorgeous chocolate chip cookies. These are going to go perfectly with your tea or as a little healthy snack throughout the day. If you're working from home, you can nibble on these and you will have your sweet tooth satisfied. So good. They're so soft and moist in the middle. I know loads of people don't like that word, but... And there you have it, 2 healthy treat recipes which are ridiculously easy to make, are packed with protein and fibre and are going to help satisfy that sweet tooth craving. So if you enjoyed this video, please do share with your friends and family and give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button because it really helps support my channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell too so you never miss a video from me. Also, if you give any of these recipes a go, please let me know how you get on in the comments below, and if you enjoy these videos so that I can keep creating more for you. But thanks for watching guys, I hope to see you in my next one.